Sponsored by MPW Mocklink TV and Mocklink Internet. Online at mpw.org. Each weekday morning, our local talk segment brings you the people who are helping move our community forward. Let's start the show.
Good morning, AM 860 and FM 95.1 KWPC. I'm Jordan Davis. Thanks for joining us this morning here for Moving Forward. As always, brought to you by MPW. Check it out right now. Try it before you buy it. It's a great way to test out all their services. Go check it out at mpw.org. Find out what services you can try before you pay for them. That's a really big deal. Again, mpw.org. I'm Jordan Davis. This is Moving Forward. I'm joined by Susan Frears and Judy Yates from the Domestic Violence Shelter and MCSA. How are you this morning?
Good, thank you.
Good morning.
We're very excited to have you both in because we want to talk a little bit about your New Beginnings fundraiser. It's going to be coming up. I'm very excited for it. Tony Tone invited me to come down and be a champagne greeter with them for the next one, so I'm very excited to get to be out there. Yeah, we're really looking forward to the event, and it's a really big deal. I got to go last year. You guys were nice enough to extend us a couple of tickets. Ashley Lovelace and I came out, and it was a really cool event. It was encouraging to see, especially during the live auction during the end there. That was a lot of fun to see. So I won't talk about the event. I'll let you guys talk about the event. So tell us a little bit about this.
Go ahead, Susan.
All right. Well, it's going to be held on April 6th. It's at Geneva Country Club. It starts at 5:30 and ends around 9:30. And it's going to be a wonderful night again. I mean, it's for a very good cause for the MCSA Domestic Violence Shelter. And basically our fundraiser helps keep the doors open and also helps with the New Beginnings sponsorships for the clients when they leave the shelter and move on to their new lives. So we have, as you mentioned, the live auction is always a lot of fun, and we have some wonderful things already we've collected for that. And then we also have a silent auction, baskets that we can bid on, and there's going to be a grid. Menards this year has donated a bistro set, and then the shelter staff are putting a lot of things with it, so that will be our grid item. And we have jewelry, we have flowers for every month for a year from Flowers on the Avenue. We have Hawkeye tickets. We have Chicago Cubs tickets. So just a lot of things to auction off, live or silent. And then we're going to have a wine pull. Again, we started that last year. We did a wine pull. So we'll be doing that again this year. You mentioned the Champagne Welcome. That's sponsored by Muscatine Radiology.
Okay.
And we're also, this year, we're going to have a signature cocktail.
That'll be fun.
So
signature cocktail.
Signature.
Explain that to me, because I'm not 100% sure what that is.
Well, it's a special cocktail that we'll hand out towards the end of the evening and have a toast. So it will probably be purple.
Probably be purple. Gotcha.
Purple for domestic violence.
I remember last year you guys had the Isabel Bloom, was it butterflies? Was it butterflies?
And this year we are selling the bumblebees, and they are limited edition. You can pick them up at MCSA. They're $25. We've already sold a lot of them already. I'm actually going up to pick up some more today. We did a second order. They are limited edition. We will be selling them that night at the event, but if you can't make it to the event and if you're interested in or you want one or you're a collector, they make great Easter gifts, just nice to have for yourself. They are limited edition, so they're done with a special purple on them for domestic violence, and you can go to MCSA at 312 Iowa Avenue and you can pick them up there.
And they're about, I don't remember the exact size, but they're about the size of like what you'd set on a table, right? It's about, I wish, a lot of people are watching on YouTube and they'll see it on Facebook too a little bit later, but if I'm holding up my hands, I'd say about around that size. If I remember, the butterfly was about that size, wasn't it?
The butterfly was a little bit bigger. The bumblebee is a little bit smaller. It's like a couple years ago when we did the ladybug that was purple.
Okay.
So it is a little smaller and it has like little wire antennas. It's really cute.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a really neat little thing because for one, it's a great way to donate to the MCSA and the Domestic Violence Shelter, because, and we should talk about the fact last year when you and I spoke, we talked about how domestic violence shelters are kind of disappearing across the state. So it's a great way to support it and, or come out to the entire event, which is a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun last year. We had a great time. You walk in the door, Tony Tone meets you at the door with a glass of champagne. That was great last year. And then you head in, you can go walk through all the silent auction items. And then was there a raffle? I don't remember.
Yes.
There is a
So
raffle.
We have a 50-50 raffle. We'll start selling tickets soon here, as soon as we get our license. We're just waiting on the go-ahead from the state. And so you can buy those when you order your tickets. You can order your 50-50 raffle tickets as well. And the winner has usually, it's been well over 1,000, sometimes over 2,000. We split, half goes to the shelter and the other half to the winner. So for $10 a ticket, it's a pretty good deal because you have a chance of winning, 1,000, 2,000, whatever it ends up being that year. And then we also have door prizes. So some people call that a raffle, but we're doing that a little different this year. We're going to have items that you can drop your tickets into a bucket, and if you want to put all your tickets towards one thing, you can.
Okay.
And then we'll draw the ticket at the end of the night.
And then if your ticket's the one drawn out of that
You'll win
specific
that
one.
item.
Gotcha. I've seen those. Those are a lot of fun. Those are really cool.
And there's amazing food. Desserts are being done by
Let's Eat.
So
And
it's
what a display they put on. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
it's a great evening. It's lighthearted. We do have a small presentation that we do, just giving some statistics and things. We also do a sponsor in need. So maybe you're not interested in one of the baskets, but you want to donate some money. There will be sheets on the table where they can, sponsor a need of $25 and things that it could possibly go for, or $50 or $75 or $100. There's so many different ways that night for you just to have fun, to mingle with other people, have great food. Back to the Isabel Blooms, one thing that they have done for us with partnering with them for the last 4 years is they have always donated a one-of-a-kind special large Isabel Bloom for our live auction. This year, I'm obsessed with Isabel Blooms, so Susan has quite a few too.
Yes,
but
I do.
This year they have done it weighs almost 70 pounds. It's about 2 foot tall. It's really big around. It's the Huggings, and they've done the entire thing in purple.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and there'll never be another
It's
one.
a one of a kind.
Really?
So for somebody that is really into Isabel Blooms or that really likes something that's special and unique, that will be on our live auction. And they've made that special for us. And you will never see another one like that. I have one that is in the regular color of Isabel Blooms, and you can buy those, but you'll never be able to bid or buy a purple one.
Wow,
ever again.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's really what an incredible thing for them to reach out and help you guys. Create something like that so that you guys can sell it to help support the domestic violence shelters.
it's been amazing.
Which we should let's talk about it now. We've talked about the event and we're super excited for it, but let's talk about why you're having the event. Why you're raising funds for the domestic violence shelter.
Sure. So, several years ago, about 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, the state kind of changed the way that they were doing funding, and they regionalized the state and put them into different regions. And when they did that, they decided that they were only going to have like one domestic violence shelter in each region. So due to state and federal funding cuts, unfortunately, some decisions had to be made, and the Muscatine shelter was going to close. So at that time, it was very important to the community. We kind of reached out to them and let them know that what was happening with regionalization, and they decided that our town, our community, fantastic community, decided that they didn't want to lose that resource. So they did a quick campaign and raised the money to keep our doors open for 2 years, and that is almost 3 years ago since that money has ran out.
Right. Because
So,
that was like 5 years ago
ago.
that we did the Save Our Shelter fundraiser. And that's when the shelter went under MCSA.
Right.
At
Gotcha.
that point.
So for the last 3 years, we have solely counted on our New Beginnings fundraiser. We do receive funds from United Way. They've been always very good to us, and we just had our United Way presentations, so we will be finding out if and what we receive from United Way, and otherwise just local, organizations, businesses, corporations, and things, churches that donate to keep our doors open. Without our doors being open, women and children would have to leave their area, their schools, their jobs, their support systems, their churches, and they would have to go to another town. town, and those towns, some of those shelters have closed. Burlington Shelter is closed. Clinton Shelter is closed, and there is one in Davenport and there is one in Iowa City, but those are full most of the time, so it makes it very difficult to get into.
Yeah, and folks, for those of you that don't know, because I had no idea before I'd ever spoken to Judy, just exactly what it was that the domestic violence shelter does, but you guys take in women, children that have been, in an abusive relationship, they need to get away from their partner. You guys take them in, you shelter them, and then you help them get their lives back on track with whatever that may be. And you've talked about too, like even getting new documents like Social Security stuff and your Social Security card and birth certificates and stuff like that, because they can't even go back to their home to retrieve that stuff.
We're not just a safe haven. We have trained advocates. That's the shelter staff 24 hours a day. There's a security system, but it is a home. It's a large 4-bedroom house that the location we keep confidential for safety and security reasons. But yeah, when they come in, most of them come with just the clothes on their back. Sometimes they bring a garbage bag or two or a suitcase full of things. But we provide all daily basic needs, everything from toilet paper to feminine hygiene products to laundry soap, food. We have an attic full of clothing, all bedding, pillows. So not only do we provide all the daily basic needs, but we also meet with them one-on-one on a weekly basis, or more so if needed, and help them work on goals. And it might be as simple as, I say simple, but getting documents. They can't apply for housing or other benefits if they don't have their birth certificates, their children's birth certificates, Social Security cards. So we help them get those replaced if they need them. We help them with job searches. We also go over a lot with red flags in what a healthy relationship is and what a healthy relationship isn't. A lot of clients, when they come to us, they don't realize that domestic violence isn't just physical violence. They'll say, well, but he never hit me, but he controlled the checkbook. He wouldn't allow me to work. He wouldn't let me have a phone, or he was checking my phone all the time. So there's, forcing me to have sex. So there's lots of other forms of domestic violence and sexual assault. So we go over with those different things, and they're like, oh yeah, he did do that. Oh, he kept me from my family. That's isolation. So we do a lot of learning on healthy relationships and empowerment, because a lot of them come with low self-esteem. So we do more than just provide a safe place for them. And we also help them with job searches, housing searches, and then like Susan said, the sponsorships.
Right, the new beginnings. Maybe they need cleaning supplies. Maybe they need bedding, pillows, sheets, or clothing for their new job, or whatever they need. And the community is very, very good about donating a lot of things for that type of thing, but they still need first month's rent and things like that. So that's where the New Beginnings sponsorships come in, where they actually help when they're leaving the shelter and moving into their apartment or whatever, and they're getting that start with their new home, and especially when there's children involved.
Yeah, that's it's terrible to think about. But and one question that always comes to my mind is when it comes to like retrieving things from the home, like where's the ownership of that stuff? Like who. What is it, like possession's 9/10 of the law or something like that? So it's hard for them to even go back and get that stuff. Sure, they may have paid for it, but there's hardly any way to prove that kind of stuff. Without receipts and details like that. Right. So they can't even to think that the things that are yours in your home, you have to leave those behind because of another person. Sometimes I can't wrap my mind around that.
Right.
It's just, I can't even imagine how tough of a situation that must be. But thankfully, there's folks like you helping make it happen, helping them get their fresh start after they leave that situation. And do you guys spend a lot of time speaking with folks before they've even left that situation?
We do. Our crisis line rings into the shelter 24 hours a day. And last year in 2018, we received 568 crisis calls. Now, some of those might be somebody that just needs to talk. Somebody might be looking for a resource to someplace else in the community. Some of them want to know if what they're experiencing is truly domestic violence. So, there's somebody there 24 hours a day to talk to them. And some people call and want to know if and when they're ready to leave, what they should bring with them. With that statistic of how many crisis calls we've taken, we served 70 women and children last year, and that may not seem a lot, but for the 70 women and children that we served, it was life-saving for them. But along with that, we had 202 women and children. That was 94 women and 108 children that called for shelter as families, seeking shelter and were approved to come in, and they ended up not coming. Now, that could be because they decided not to. They went to a family member's. Maybe they decided to stay and try to make it work. There's a lot of guilt with domestic violence. But that's 202 people that reached out to us and were okayed to come to shelter and ended up not coming. So it's not that our shelter isn't needed or being utilized. But yeah, we do talk to them about what to bring with them, safety planning with them if they're not ready to leave yet. Average woman leaves 7 to 10 times before she leaves for good. So she's maybe not at the place where she's ready to leave yet, but just needs somebody to talk to.
Gotcha. Folks, I hope when you're hearing this, you're thinking to yourself, wow, I really need to find a way to help support this, because you can come to this New Beginnings, you can buy the Isabel Blooms, but there's other ways to support too, because you have folks donate stuff all the time too, like sheets and clothes and stuff like that. There's all sorts of ways to help out, and you really need to take advantage of it right now. You know, Judy's right here. She's going to give you a number to get a hold of you or a hold of her, so that you can get in. You can get those. You can get those to them.
Yep, you can call MCSA at 264-3278. You can call there, or you can take donations there and specify that they're for the MCSA Domestic Violence Shelter. I stop by there several days a week and pick up donations and then take them to our domestic violence shelter. If you or somebody that you know thinks that you might need our services, you can always call our crisis line. It's answered 24 hours a day. It's 263-8080. And you can ask if there's something specific that we need on the crisis line, or you can call or give that number if you think that you work with somebody or have somebody in your family or you yourself need help. I also just want to say that a lot of people sometimes say, well, all you do is talk about women and children. We do recognize that there are male victims of domestic violence as well. We do not house male victims at our shelter, but we will definitely make resources available if they want to call and talk on our crisis line, and we will make sure that they have a safe place to go as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I might mention too that we're in the process of collecting sponsorships for the New Beginnings, and that would go 100% to the domestic violence shelter. And so there's different levels that you can give to the fundraiser that we're running right now. And so we have a silver sponsorship is $300, a gold is $600, and a platinum is $1,200. So, but we would, accept any amount. If, you want to give $100, that's fine too. Mm-hmm. So any donations, any sponsorships, you can, reach out to Judy or to me. And I also should throw in, because I've spent a lot of time in March and April working on New Beginnings, just to thank my employer, Kent GPC, and they also donated all of the printing costs for our invitations and response cards, save the date, and all that. So they've been great, a great community leader too.
And that's another example of just how much this community shows up for stuff like this.
Is.
I mean it's incredible. I say this all the time because it happens all the time. I have folks in here in and out this door talking about the incredible stuff that they're doing, but it doesn't happen without the great community that we have.
That's right.
We are very blessed to live in Muscatine, and every year I'm just so impressed at the turnout for our New Beginnings and the sponsorships and the people that just call, with large amounts of money, small amounts of money, just wanting to give and wanting to help out. This is a resource that it's one of those things, if we lose this in our community, we will probably never get it back. Right. And we need to be the voice for the women and children that maybe aren't strong enough to speak up themselves, and to make sure that they know that they're cared about and that they have a community that cares about them and that they have a place to go.
Absolutely. Well, I hate to cut our conversation short because this is an important one to have, but let's give the date and time and a way to get it and get a hold of folks so that you can get out to this event, and then we'll wrap things up.
All right. Well, it's Saturday, April 6th from 5:30 to 9:30. You can go on and get your tickets at mcsaiowa.org.
Yep.
And or stop down at MCSA. You can get your tickets there. We look forward to seeing everyone coming.
Yep, absolutely. Make it out there, folks. This is a great event to attend, and there's all sorts of ways to get a hold of them, too. Check out MCSA. You can get a hold of them, and if you want to make any donations outside of going to the event, buying an Isabel Bloom, anything like that. So thanks for tuning in here for Moving Forward. Judy Yates and Susan Frears joining us, talking a little bit about the domestic violence shelters and their New Beginnings event that's coming up here in April. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you, Jordan.
This has been Moving Forward on KWPC and the Voice of Muscatine.com. brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water. Try it before you buy it. How important is it for you to try out those services before you actually pay for them? Go check it out again, mpw.org. I'm Jordan Davis for the Voice of Muscatine.com.
This has been Moving Forward on KWPC AM 860 FM 95.1, the voice of Muscatine. Moving Forward is brought to you by MPW Digital TV and Mocklink Internet, a designated Blue Zones worksite. Browse to mpw.org. And remember, Moving Forward. Local guests making good things happen in the community. Weekdays at 8:15.
This is the Big Ten